Okay, so you guys, welcome to my real estate mistakes. I'm Chauncey Hilliard,
DeQuincey Edwards.
and today we're going to talk about building capital. The
Minority way.
Because as you can see, we're part of the minority.
Young,
And-
African American men
Yep.
in America.
In America.
So we have a unique way of building capital.
Yep, but it can be done,
It can be done.
but it's just going to be very different from going to the bank and saying, hey, we need to get $10,000.
Exactly.
Because the bank can look at you like, of course.
Okay. So you want to start off on how you start building capital?
Yeah, I guess the first initial way is that I purchased a house that had equity in it, and Quincy's always Kanye West when it comes to doing something. So I
just want to clarify. That means I just go for it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah, he's not crazy. yeah. When we say Kanye West, we saying that he'll go out and figure out.
Be the crazy looking one to do it.
The crazy one looking
But
one.
it works out.
Yeah, it does. And he'll come back and he'll get beat up and say, hey, this is what happened and this is what we need to do now. So I got a home equity line of, I guess it was a home equity line of credit is what it's called. So what that is that you have a property that has equity in it. So the bank will give you, it's kind of similar to a second mortgage, but I would say a home equity line is more so like a credit card that is backed by a home.
Exactly.
So the interest rate is actually cheaper than if it would be on an actual regular credit card.
So so basically, if your home, we're using numbers. If your home worth $200,000 and you owe $125,000, the equity in your home is $75,000. It's the difference between what you owe and the home value of your home. So, like he said, the bank will give you a percentage of that $75,000. So
it's normally like 80-90% depending on the time.
And they will give you money to use just like a credit card. They give you a $20,000, $25,000 line. My line was $25,000 that I got. And, usually people use that for home repairs, buy a boat, send the kids, buy a car, stuff like that. So you use that actually as capital.
As capital. And especially in the times where your property values are actually worth more than what you own it now, if you purchased it, then that's where that capital initially came. So buying your first investment or buying your first house is very important because I was just paying the minimum payment, but luckily that house had some capital in it, and we went and actually took the money out of the capital. Now, we closed on those houses really quickly, and initially Quincy went to a big bank to get the equity line, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, I went to a big bank where I had my business loan, and they told me that I had to wait 12 months. And I told that banker that day, I can't wait 12 months. That's not in my plan that I had in my head to you. I can't wait 12 months. If my house is worth that today, because I asked, if my house was worth that today, why do I have to wait 12 months? And they were saying, she told me that they want to see payment history. I was saying, but you guys are second in position. If I don't pay the mortgage, you're not getting the property anyway.
Agree.
She didn't have an answer. She said, our regulations, our guidelines say 12 months. So that's why the why. That's why she denied the loan. So I talked to lenders. I talked to a lender who just told me that I use for my home. And he said, maybe try a credit union. And I went to a credit union, local credit union. And she told me, no, if it's worth that and that, you can get that loan today. You can start that process today. And that's exactly what I did. Took about 2 or 3 weeks. I got the line. I had to open an account, put $25 in the savings. It's still there. And she gave me a line.
And I was already banking with that bank. So once Quincy said, hey, this is the way that you have to go because you can't go this bank. You got to go this direction. I already was banking there. So I went ahead and got my loan approved as well. I started off, I had $15,000 because being that I have a unique property was my first property is that it didn't have a lot of comparables to go around, even though it was worth more. But the way that they actually calculated, get an appraisal to come out there, and he had 3 to 4 comparables, and whatever he put on there as the value, and depending on what your actual loan amount is on your first mortgage, they're only going to give you that amount. So initially I went back and said, my house is worth more because it was worth more. But then that's when you realize that they don't care what you say. The appraisal came back here, so you're going to get $15,000, brother. Exactly. You're going to keep it moving. So that was one of those things that's all the money I had was this right here. So $15,000 at that time, you probably could have bought something, but you couldn't renovate it.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
No, so that's why I tell people, you just can't have one line of source of income. Mm-hmm. So I had the line. Also, I had another partner called Visa. It's called my credit cards. Okay, I know they have high interest rates, but if you have some credit cards that give cash in advance, so you actually can write a check off your credit card. So I had Visa. I just bought my homes, so my scores was in the high 7s. Mm-hmm. I had the credit. I had the credit cards. I had the balance, the low balances, and the high balance. So what I mean by that, I had a $15,000 credit card, maybe owed $1,000 on it. So I had $14,000 work with there. Mm-hmm. And also,
interest rates are going to be a little high, but you're investing.
It's the cost of business,
and that's the only thing that you have. So you're using your resources that you have to move your needle forward, because if he didn't want to do it, then he wouldn't have got any way with it, because that's all the capital he has. So I think a lot of people always say is that I don't have enough money to do it. You have to take what you actually have, because you probably have more than what you think you have, but using those resources and kind of figuring out this is what I have and how I can make it work is what we say when it's saying as a minority. We didn't have somebody to come out here, because my parents didn't believe in me at the beginning that this flipping thing was going to work. And let's not say even parents. Let's say that no one's going to invest in yourself until you're proven. So on your first investment, you're going to have to prove to yourself. So you're either going to have, I had a lot more sweat equity in my first investment.
Very lot of sweat equity.
Than I did actual capital.
I didn't know how much good I was with a saw and the drill and stuff like that. Yeah, you couldn't pay nobody.
Yeah, you
had to get it done.
You had to get it done. So making those connections work, because somebody got somebody that can do something. And my situation is that I had to rely on a lot more people and kind of get favors coming in. Like, you don't have to buy me nothing for Christmas. Buy me a microwave.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, my dad's warehouse is very, very much contributed to this first project.
So it's using your resources around you. Like, everyone always want to go and look at gold in another backyard. No, you got to start off in your own backyard and look for that gold initially.
Exactly.
And with building that capital, you started off there. So
you got to think of ways. When you're building capital, you got to think, what do I own that's have value?
Exactly.
My house had value. Mm-hmm. My credit cards had value. Mm-hmm. I'm not telling you to just go run up your credit cards. I ran up my credit cards because I knew it was a payoff coming. Mm-hmm. So when I got my money back when it closed, I paid down my credit cards again.
Exactly.
You got to figure out people who's looking to invest with you, mm-hmm. people who like to invest is always looking at deals to invest. Mm-hmm. Okay? So even if you don't have the money or the capital, you can think away. You might have value as a property that would do good.
Exactly.
Like, you might know somebody like, I don't have the money and I don't have to know all, but I know that DeQuincey does this, and it's it's a family property. We can get it for this, it's worth this, and we can flip it. And I might ask Chauncey, hey, Chauncey, I don't have any money to put in the deal, but I found a deal. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to work on a deal. Can I get a percentage? And can you teach me the deal? Mm-hmm. A lot of people will go for that deal.
Agree.
So you have to find your value you have to find your way to get inside the deal.
Exactly.
To learn. You have to learn. You can watch as many, read many books you want to, mm-hmm. many podcasts and things like that, but you have to get out and actually do the work.
You have to do the work, and that's what I think that is showing is that capital building is that it is no right or wrong way of doing it. You can do a private lender, that's somebody, and when I say a private lender, it's somebody that that maybe have some money. Instead of us actually going and actually buying a car after we had our first house, we decided we're going to reinvest into buying a second flip or investment property.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people don't understand is that you have to actually make some sacrifices. So we made sure that those credit card limits were where they were, we could have went and bought a book bag, or we could have went on trips, but we didn't make that decision. We took that credit card limit and actually buy another property on there. Those are the things, those sacrifices that we made in order to actually gain that capital. And when you're looking at private investors, they're looking at your moves as well too. My investor was a little lady that had some money. So yeah, she wanted to invest in real estate. She had to do it a different way than normal, and she saw me hustling and making moves because I already bought my first property.
Exactly.
But my second property came right after my first, because that's how things happen, is that once you buy one property, all the other, it took you 6 months to get that one property. But the second and third property, they come right after it. So I didn't have the money to actually go into the second property. At that time, I had needed a private investor to come in there. So I came up with a plan. I presented it to her like, this is what the property is worth. This is what this is the budget we need, because you learn a little bit more on there. And that's why I needed someone else's money on this, in this actual scenario. Okay, yeah. They get their portion, because I don't care how much they charge. They charge you 30%. If you're going to make $20,000 off and they charge you 30%, I needed that money to actually make it. So if she charged 30%, you may say she a loan shark, but I say
she was a saving grace to me.
It's worth her 30%.
But when you went back to that private lender the second time, at that 30%, it went down.
It definitely went down because it was proven then. So taking that risk initially, regardless of what, like we said initially about that, you may not make as much money as you want to off the initial investment, but you're learning the processes and what you have to do and what you're going to do differently throughout the whole entire processes. And that is actually what is actually motivating you to go on. And all of those things being said is that you have to make sure that you use your resources.
Got to.
I think that us as a community, we kind of say that we don't have a lot of resources around, which it is very limited resources. But you might have an uncle that can actually paint a house. So you might have to take the uncle with you. You might have to buy him lunch. You might have to do that. But
exactly. You got to be a project manager.
That's a resource.
Yes.
And he might not have the money, but he has the knowledge on how to do it, and you have to deal with what comes with it. But that's the way that you actually can get started with it, because a lot of people use this as that we can't do it, so I'm not going to do it. No, it's how we are going to do it is what the key is.
Exactly. I want to say in the beginning, banks are looking at numbers to give you the money.
Exactly.
A private lender is looking at you.
Exactly.
You are the collateral, because you can write all the agreements you want. You can say I could put a second mortgage on this property and stuff, but if it goes bad, it goes bad. Exactly. I'm investing in you.
Exactly.
So you have to find, if you have no money, you got to have more time.
Exactly.
You know, investors have a lot of money, but no time.
Exactly.
So that's why they want to give you the money with the time to make the money. So that's what you have to figure out. What can I do in this deal that is going to make that I'm going to actually
buy value?
I'm going to know the real estate market. Am I going to know how to sell this property? Do I know how to repair this property? Do I'm going to handle the contract that's in this property? Or I'm going to just be the assistant and trying to put the deal together. So you just got to figure out your value and your time. Like you said, your first deal, a lot of sweat equity. Oh man, I remember my first day, I was out there.
Exactly.
Every day. I just feel like we was out there. I was out there, this happening. So that's what you people got to realize, that you have value somewhere, and you just can't look at money as value.
Yep.
And you just can't stop not doing the real estate deal because you don't have the capital.
Exactly.
Because there's capital out there.
There's capital out there.
You just have to get the capital. And I'm talking to people I was doing this when I was in college.
Exactly.
I mean, that's when I did most of my real estate. When I was in undergrad and grad school, that's when I had the most passive income. Like I didn't have a lot of bills. So you need to figure out, okay, I don't have 10 or 15,000 in the bank.
Exactly.
But I can find deals to people who have that.
Exactly.
And learn that way.
Or my thing is right now is that, you have some type of something there. Either it's a equity line, you have equity in your thing, or, I mean, I don't want to say, I'm not saying that you should do this, but this is where you probably have capital at, is that some people, are they older, they got 401k.
Definitely. And I'm glad you mentioned 401ks because that's one of my things, my pet peeve about people with 401ks.
Mm-hmm.
You work a job all them years and they're investing your money in that 401k.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know where that money. You don't even know where that money even going.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know anything like where the money's going.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if they send it to what company. You don't know anything about it. You get a statement every quarter and you see that. Mm-hmm. That money is for you to invest. Like that money is for you to put in the market to make it work.
Now, we're not saying that.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying to enter your 401k on that. Okay, I'm not saying. I'm saying that is a tool if you have faith in somebody that if you go to your parents or you go to somebody who has a 401k. Mm-hmm. Some of my investors use their 401k on their first investment deal, and I break down the deal to them and tell them how they're gonna get the money back and how they should structure and things like that. Mm-hmm. But you're right. That is another way of doing it because you work all them years. Because that money for you to invest into that money. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of another way of capital is, a lot of times is people have properties that they're not doing anything with. Mm-hmm. Like
grandma property probably that is abandoned.
Yeah.
Yep. So you may want to call them and say, hey, how about if I can...
Because one person only paying the taxes
exactly.
on it. One person in the family paying the taxes
Paying the taxes on it. And so instead of just letting grandma property go away, maybe y'all come together and say, hey, I do the repairs on grandma property. Put all this stuff in agreement.
All of it in agreement.
Yeah, all in agreement so everybody can understand exactly where it is. I get 20% of the profit off of there. Or maybe it's a house that maybe your mom was going to gift you a house at the end or something or anything. Then you can kind of use that as your leverage. What we're just trying to encourage you is just to look at your surroundings.
Yes.
And figure out where is value at. And just don't look at monetary stuff. Do we have anything that we can sell? Do we have anything that somebody that can actually help us do sweat equity in it? Those are the things and the tools that you're going to need to actually move the needle forward when it comes to figuring out how I'm going to get started is what you're trying to do. Is because once you get that first one under your belt, everything else actually work out.
Yeah, because like you said, like another point might be time. Mm-hmm. Like you might want to figure out if you're interested in this. You might want to talk to your local real estate company and say, "Hey, I'm interested in flipping. I see you do a lot of new flip properties. You sell a lot of them. Who do you know do it? Mm-hmm. Maybe connect with them and say, hey, I'm trying to learn how to do it. I don't have money. I just want to learn. Can I be an intern? Can I be your assistant and stuff? Come very humble, because usually a person who does this a lot is very busy. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have time to teach you. But if you come right and like you're really eager to learn, I think you'll have real success in learning that that process. So I think we gave some key ways to give them some capital.
Some capital, yeah.
I mean, like you said, anything that you go out there, like have good credit scores, because credit is capital. 800 credit score is like a $100,000 bank loan. You can get good capital. Mm-hmm. Go on, use that credit score. Just don't look at it in the mirror. Go on, use that credit score.
Instead of buying stuff, just use that as an investment.
Yeah, instead of getting that, Macy card, get a business card. Exactly. Get a credit card and stuff. Instead of buying that Louis Vuitton bag, go ahead and invest that into a property.
Agree. All right, so that's what we're talking about. Is that's how you actually build capital, how we initially build capital, and other ways that you can build capital in order to do that first investment property. Yeah,
any questions, please let us know. Leave comments. If you had any stories that you might have about raising capital, please let us know, and we're glad to see your comment.
Yep.